Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
Here are today's top headlines. More signs GM is heading toward bankruptcy. The UAW accepts a no-strike agreement, and Ford takes the Fiesta out on tour. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Thursday, May 14th, 2009. I'm Mark Phelan, auto critic at the Detroit Free Press, filling in for John. And now the news. Just a day after its stock price dropped to levels not seen since 1933 and its bonds tumbled to record lows as well, we may have our clearest sign so far that General Motors is inching closer to bankruptcy. Today in the Free Press, we're reporting that the company has moved up some of its supplier payments from the first week of June to the end of May, just days before the government-imposed deadline. Now that may be great news for the balance sheets of Tier 1s on that list, but auto analysts see it as just short of absolute proof that GM will file Chapter 11 bankruptcy in just a little over 2 weeks. Meanwhile, speaking of automakers in bankruptcy, we've got an update on the UAW no-strike promise to Chrysler. As we reported back on April 30th, and as confirmed this week by U.S. bankruptcy court documents, the union has pledged not to strike the company anytime before the fall of 2015. This extends the original no-strike agreement the union worked out with the administration when Chrysler received its first TARP loan a few months ago, and is just one of a long list of UAW concessions that the Auto Industry Task Force asked for, so Chrysler would qualify for more than $10 billion in government support during restructuring. And one of the results of that structuring, if Fiat gets its way, could be a global alliance between itself, Opel, Chrysler, and GM. Bloomberg News is reporting that if Fiat becomes GM's partner running Opel, it plans to create a new company that would share future designs and technology between the four divisions. How this alliance would work isn't quite clear yet, but we do know that GM has said all along that it wanted to retain some sort of link with Opel, and this may be the best way to achieve that. By the way, European Union officials are already prepping for a fight by speculating that such an alliance would eliminate up to 18,000 jobs in Europe. Back in Washington, the U.S. House of Representatives reached a deal that could provide billions to the auto industry as part of a proposed plan to limit carbon emissions. According to the Detroit News, automakers would receive 3% of the government's revenue from carbon emissions permits starting in 2012 to use toward building green cars. Analysts say the deal could be worth up to $15 billion a year over the first 6 years of the program. It's still unclear how the money would be divided among automakers. Meanwhile, over in John Mellencamp country, Honda began production of the Civic GX, its natural gas-powered vehicle, at its new plant in Indiana yesterday. The vehicle was produced at its East Liberty, Ohio plant prior to moving one state west. It's the only natural gas-powered passenger car in the United States. The vehicle has a range of over 220 miles or 350 kilometers, and Honda claims it's 90% cleaner than the average gas-powered car on the road today. And finally, to help promote the launch of the Fiesta, Ford will start showing European spec versions of the car across the United States. The company is aiming to get 100,000 test drives by the time it launches the North American version. Production starts next year at Ford's plant in Mexico. To find out if the tour will be stopping near you, check out www.fiestamovement.com. Coming up next, I'll have a review of the 2010 Ford Mustang convertible. We'll be back right after this.
Changing tires out here could be dangerous, but with these tires, I don't need to worry.
Bridgestone.
The classic American pony car gets a new body, appealing new features, and improved fuel economy this year. The 2010 Ford Mustang hits the road just in time for summer fun, and I recently tested a V8-powered Mustang GT convertible on my annual trip to the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. The Mustang's looks and handling had me before I turned the key, but I was pleasantly surprised by how comfortable and fuel efficient the car was on a long drive. The 315 horsepower V8 has a satisfying engine note and ample power off the line. The car I tested topped the EPA's projected fuel economy, averaging over 24 miles per gallon on the highway. The interior is all new. In addition to good looks and upgraded materials, this is the first Mustang to get Sync, the system Ford and Microsoft developed for hands-free control of mobile phones, iPods, and other features. The front seats are amazingly comfortable on long drives, but rear legroom is minimal. The Mustang's solid rear axle makes for a harsh ride over bumps. Detroit's other reincarnated sports coupes, the Dodge Challenger and Chevrolet Camaro, both have independent rear suspensions. That gives them an advantage in comfort and road holding. I'd also like to see Ford swap the Mustang's 5-speed manual transmission for a 6-speed. The 5-speed is set up for optimal fuel economy. That will save you money, but it means there's not much get up and go when you nail the accelerator in 4th or 5th gear. With prices starting at just under $21,000 and a V8 convertible available for about $33,000, the 2010 Mustang is a bargain and a beauty. For my full review of the car, pick up today's Detroit Free Press or go to www.freep.com. And that's it for today's show, but don't forget to check out Autoline After Hours tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time or 2300 GMT. John won't be here, so Peter DiLorenzo will be in the driver's seat. Joining him and Jason Vines in the studio is David Welch of Business Week, while Eddie Alterman, the new editor-in-chief of Car and Driver, will join them via Skype. Anyway, that's it for today's top news in the global automotive industry. Again, I'm Mark Phelan, auto critic for the Detroit Free Press. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Visit our website for even more great content all week long. Autoline Extra, Dawn's Journal, podcasts, and even more. So click over and get the inside view at AutolineDetroit.tv.